Hello, my friends. It's your host, Phil Larson, and this is your motivational high five on passion. Let's do this. Greetings and welcome. If it sounded like I was laughing in the intro or on the verge of laughing, it's because I am recording this from my bedroom. I have recently moved home to build a studio in my backyard. And as I do the intro, I look over and immediately when I start, my dog's head just pops up. He's like, what is going on? So here I am feeling judged by my dog in my bedroom. So the more I think about it, it's just another day. I'm excited for you to hear from our guests today, and before we get into that, this podcast is brought to you by a partnership with BetterHelp. BetterHelp is online counseling. As I've discussed in previous episodes, counseling is a big part of my life and my self-growth, and in fact, a big part of starting this podcast to begin with. Their tools allow you to stay consistently connected to your counselor at just a fraction of the cost of in-person meetings. And what a great time in our world to do this, to be able to stay socially distant if we need to, yet still get the help we need. BetterHelp will get you matched with a counselor within 48 hours. And if you use our podcast link, betterhelp.com/YMH5, the number 5, you get 10% off your first month. Again, that is BetterHelp, HELP, betterhelp.com/YMH5 for your motivational high five. Use the number 5. BetterHelp.com/YMH5, or just check out the show notes and there will be a link there that'll take you right where you need to go. Today's guest wrote an incredible story and tagged me in it, talking about this podcast and how it's been so meaningful to her. And I reached back out to say thank you, and I saw that she's doing some really cool things as a small business owner. So of course, I'd like to have her on my podcast. Daja Hardwick is a creative artist running her gourmet cookie shop, Cookie Jar Company. Cookie Jar Company specializes in unique flavors. It was founded in 2019 and started as a side hustle, but quickly turned into a developing brand. Cookie Jar Company's mission is to create supreme flavors, offer impeccable taste, and present it in an artful manner. Along with being an entrepreneur, Daja is a licensed associate professional counselor, and she has discovered an undeniable passion in helping the youth manage and overcome day-to-day issues. You can find her cookie company on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Shop Cookie Jar Co., or go to their website at shopcookiejar.co. They offer local pickups if you happen to live in Albany, Georgia, and they ship throughout the U.S. Check the show notes for these links and more. Please welcome Daja Hardwick.
What's the reason you work so hard? What drives you to put in overtime when trying to reach your dreams? That's easy. That's your passion. After driving home from work one day, I saw a billboard that resonated with me. It said, "Find more than a job. Find your passion." I found my passion through serving my community as a mental health therapist. I attended Columbus State University to obtain a Master's of Science in Clinical Mental Health Counseling. The first year was a breeze. The next year and a half, it rocked my world. Students were required to complete hours for a practicum and internship. I had interviews, but I was not offered a position. It was my personal goal to graduate on time with my class in December 2020. Not securing a practicum and internship would cause a delay. But my passion was my energy. It would all work out for me. 2 months later, I received an email from my program coordinator informing me of a site that was looking for immediate help. I contacted the appropriate person and went in for the interview. But there were some ethical issues within this organization that would not allow me to be a good fit as an intern student. But my passion remained my energy. It will all work out for me. I was able to secure a practicum position in West Point, Georgia. It was about 40 minutes from Columbus. I didn't really mind the commute. I was just happy things were finally falling into place for me. But then I found out my supervisor at the time would soon be going back to school to finish her doctoral program, which meant I could finish my practicum, but I couldn't stay there for an intern. So I was back at square one on my search for another site. But my passion remained my energy. It will all work out for me. I informed my program coordinator of all that happened. She gave me a deadline to find a new site. I called places near and far, and I even visited some places in person. I had no luck up until the last agency I went to. An individual there knew somebody, that knew somebody, that knew somebody. I was offered an internship site on the spot in Tuskegee, Alabama. My commute would then be an hour every day, but my passion remained my energy. It will all work out for me. It soon came time to take the exit exam, which I had to pass prior to graduation. I also had to take the National Counselor exam, the NCE, a requirement for becoming fully licensed. Both exams were in the same week, just days apart. I failed both, but somehow my passion never wavered. It was still my energy. I told myself, it will all work out for me. 5 months later, I retook both exams. I passed the NCE, but I failed the exit exam again by 2 points. I was ready to call it quits and even accept that maybe it wasn't time for me to graduate with my master's. My program coordinator told me about the in-house exam, which was offered by the program. If I passed, those scores towards the exit exam criterion could be used for graduation. After testing one last time, I would not be able to test again. My passion was still my energy, and it was just enough for me to try once more after many sleepless nights, failed attempts, doubts, and setbacks. I was instructed to take the test virtually at home on my laptop due to the pandemic with the web camera on. For an extra boost, I wrote down my new name with my new credentials on a sheet of paper. Daja Hardwick, MS, NCC. I placed the paper near me on a bookshelf, and over the course of the 4-hour test, I looked over at that paper whenever I became tired, frustrated, and uncertain. I was telling myself I was going to pass no matter what. I could do this. I didn't come this far to come this far. A day later, I found out all of my hard work was never in vain. It only revealed to me my true strength. I passed my test, and I could prepare for graduation. Since then, I've had more trials and tribulations upon becoming licensed on the associate level. But my passion to serve the youth as a mental health clinician has been my sole reason for continuing my quest. My passion wouldn't let me quit on myself. I found more than a job. I found peace and belonging in a field where I can empower and make a difference through normalizing mental health, even after enduring and conquering my own mental health issues. I want to remind the youth that no dream is too big, and failure simply means to regroup and try it again. The youth will continue to be able to look at me and see hope. All it takes is for a person to find their passion, and it will become your energy and your motive to reach every goal you set for yourself despite barriers. You're up next. The world needs your creativity, you therapist, doctor, lawyer, entertainer, educator. The journey may be difficult, but use me as proof of what you can do. As I always say, we're going up regardless.
Thank you, Daja. I first reached out to her because of her cookie business, but when she put together this recording, I found out that there is so much more to Daja and her passions and her work ethic and her dreams and her goals. And I am just so inspired by you. Thank you for sharing your voice and what you have come to learn as you went through your very trying and powerful journey. Some of the things that really stuck out to me of the things that she said, she kept saying over and over again, even when she hit a wall or a barrier, she would say, my passion remained my energy. And that is something that she continued to tap into. I think that became very evident to me is that passion is a resource to draw from. Passion involves you going back and reminding yourself why you've come this far, what you hope to gain in the end. And what those things do is it helps reignite some energy that is lost along the way. This is the power of passion. I love it when she came down to her last test and she wouldn't be able to test again if she didn't pass. This was such a tangible example of how her passion became her energy is when she wrote down her new name with her new credentials. And she would tell herself, I didn't come this far to come this far. And when she passed, she told herself, all my hard work was not in vain. It only revealed my true strength. And that's what passion does. Passion is the energy to work through the hard barriers. Passion reveals true things about yourself. When passion becomes defined for you, that is something that you can then choose to lean into. One of the best exercises that I had to partake in when I was in college was a form that I would give to my closest friends. And they would fill out this form that would tell back to you what they think your biggest strengths and what they think your biggest weaknesses are. And I didn't realize how much I didn't know about myself until that exercise, which is why I say it was one of the best exercises I did, to get someone else's perspective other than my own on how I come across to people. And yes, there were some weaknesses on there, but the strength that kept coming up from everyone I gave it to, and a word that I never would have used to describe myself, is that I was passionate. That was number one. That was the top of my strengths. And ever since then, I felt like I've been able to lean into it better and draw energy from it. And in fact, a lot of what I've done in my adult life is energy that I would attribute to that word, passion. And there's been a lot of barriers along the way. Yet, as Daja says, my passion wouldn't let me quit on myself. When you are tapped into your passion, quitting isn't even an option when you're truly tapped in. It may be a fleeting thought. And if that's where you are today, try to tap back in. And you do that by reminding yourself of how far you've come, why you are here in this moment today, and what you hope to become, where you hope to go, seeing the future self you hope to be. This is how you reignite your passion. Failure may get you down. Barriers, hang-ups, all that may knock you a little bit off course. But yet, as Daja says, failure simply means a chance to regroup and try it again. Passion will become your energy and your motive despite barriers. Another thing Daja says, she just really has a lot of good little nuggets here and there that I will hold on to, and I hope you do too. And she hopes you do as well, because as she says at the end, use me as proof of what you can do. And in the end, we're going up regardless. Thank you, Daja. Friends, I hope this reignites some passion. If it does, that like burning, that excitement, something inside you that maybe you can't define but you're feeling right now, feed it. Feed it. What will help bring fuel to that fire? And it's not by accident that oftentimes a word paired with passion is burning. Burning passion. It truly does feel like a fire, an energy within you that you may not be able to put to words. Tap into that. Remind yourself of why you are here, why you have that passion. It's no mistake you have it, and how you're going to use it to get to where you want to go. That's what this podcast is all about. It's always been about that. Seeing your future self, imagining your future self to the point where you begin to believe it. And it's a beautiful thing that science has discovered called neuroplasticity, that the connections in your brain are not hardwired in. You can rewire the negative narratives that are being told to you or that you are telling yourself. And you can choose to believe a new way. And as you do that, synapses fire and new connections are being made. There's an energy that can't be put to words but can be felt, that has very real and lasting impacts, much like passion. And I hope you hear it and feel it through this podcast and episode after episode, that this is more than just a recording. There's passion, and there's people who believe in a better version of themselves and are going after to get it. And so when we lean into that possibility of change, of betterment of self, of slow growth over long periods of time, of hitting barriers, getting knocked off a little bit, and regrouping and trying again, we lean into hope. We lean into the possibility of change. And we do that in a very practical way after every episode. At the end of every episode, we begin to tell us new mantras, positive stories, things that interact with the wiring in our brain that lead to lasting change. We do this out of a burning passion that won't allow us to quit on ourselves. And so when you find a reflection of yourself, look at yourself and say the following things. I can remind myself of and lean into my passions, despite the barriers that may be in my way. The beautiful and scary thing about your passions is that no one can define them for you other than you. And so the power is in your hands, whether to keep the passion burning or let it begin to fizzle out. But if it has fizzled out, do not lose hope. If the passion was there once, it'll mostly always be there, simmering a little warm beneath the surface, which is great because that means it can always be rekindled. The good things you want for your life are never truly lost. And friends, we're going up regardless. It starts with you.